Hi, I'm Karl Konrad. The Australian Immigration Law Services team has 23 years of experience and we help our clients get their visas to live, work and study in Australia. On this channel we share videos on Australian visas and the latest requirements, tips and important immigration news. If you want to learn more about immigrating to Australia, subscribe to get our videos every week. The 189 visa is Australia's most popular visa. Due to the pandemic, it has been slow to accrue, but that will change in due course, so you may want to be ready when it does. Although it's not very easy to get, it makes you a permanent resident and you'll be able to live and work in Australia wherever you want. Let's start with the basic requirements on age, health and character. These are the things that you will not be able to change, unlike your occupation or English skills, for example. You cannot be 45 years or older, have a very significant health issue, or have a serious criminal record. Otherwise, there's always a chance for the 189 visa, and if you're willing to put in the time or money, you can improve your chances. To get the 189 visa, you must have an occupation that the Australian government wants. Therefore, the first step to getting the 189 visa is to check if your occupation is eligible. Visit the Immigration Department's website to get the latest list of eligible occupations. You can find the link to this in the video description below. Some common occupations include those of accounting, health and medicine, teaching, ICT, and those in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There are also trades such as chefs, electricians, plumbers, and even tennis coaches. There are currently 212 occupations on the list for the 189 visa, but this list changes every year, so really you need to be sure that you are using the latest list. Or you can subscribe and I will be sure to make an announcement when the list changes. It is also important to be looking at the correct list, as different visas have different lists of eligible occupations. To be eligible for the 189 visa, you must be able to score at least 65 points on a points test. There are many ways in which you can score points. For example, you can score points having studied in Australia, for work experience, having good English, or if you have higher education qualifications and so forth. You will need to provide evidence of all the points you score, such as providing your bachelor degree certificate, resume, and English test results. You only need to provide evidence of all your points you are claiming when you make the visa application, which happens much later on in the process. It takes time to get things like English test results, so you can only make a guess at what you might score. We ask you to calculate your score early because it is helpful to have an idea where you stand. If your score is under 65 points, you may want to consider the 190 visa or the 491 visa. Or you could decide to take up a class or program to earn extra points. For example, if you know a language other than English, you may get a community language certification from NATI, which will give you 5 additional points. It's not very hard to do and the test is online these days. I did a video on this recently and you can find a link to watch it in the description below. This next step is critical. If you're unable to get a skill assessment, you will not be eligible for the 189 visa. A skill assessment is a document from an authorized assessing authority stating that you are able to perform in your occupation at the skill level appropriate for the immigration program. Each occupation has a relevant assessing authority. For example, ICT professionals must apply to the Australian Computer Society. I've also done a video on skill assessments and you can check it out in the link in the description. How you apply for the skill assessment is different for every occupation, as the skills required are not the same. You will need to check with a relevant assessing authority for your occupation. Often the requirements you must fulfill involve a combination of education qualifications and work experience. You must get this skill assessment as one of your earliest steps because without it you cannot start your application process. You will be asked to submit specific details from your skill assessment document when you first begin to apply. Next up, get your English test done. Just like the skill assessment, you cannot start your application without doing it as you'll be asked to give specific details about your test results. Here are the scores that you need to meet: competent, proficient or superior level English across the different tests. If you want to score more points through proficient or superior level English, you will need to take the test as evidence. There are 5 different types of English tests that you can take. These are the IELTS General or Academic, PTE Academic, OET, TOEFL, IBT, or the Cambridge C1 Advanced Test. You can choose to take any. All the tests are conducted slightly differently, but all of them test you in the 4 areas being listening, reading, writing, and speaking. We generally recommend that you get your skill assessment before your English test because there's no point taking the English test if you cannot get a skill assessment, and English tests are expensive. However, many assessing bodies want to see an English test result, and if that is the case, you'll need to do the English test first. For immigration purposes, these English test results are valid only for 3 years. Finally, with your English result and your skill assessment result ready, you can submit an expression of interest on Skill Select. An expression of interest is exactly as it says it is. It tells the Immigration Department that you are interested in the 189 visa, but it is not a visa application. If you are selected, you will get an invitation to make an application. As there is a maximum number of visas that are given out each year, places are given out slowly to the top scoring candidates. Your expression of interest sits in a queue amongst other interested candidates. The Skills Select queue prioritises highest scores first. Amongst those with the same scores, those who submitted their expression of interest earlier will be placed first. Since the candidate pool is constantly changing, you can have a high score but be constantly missed out because invitations if a new scoring candidate joins the queue. Your expression of interest can always be updated, so you want to get your expression of interest submitted as early as you can. You can continue to update your EOI later and improve your score if you can. You can also put more than one EOI on the system. I've got 2 videos about how to improve your chances of being selected, so give them a watch and the links are in the description box below. Although you don't need to submit evidence until you're invited, it would be good to start to be prepared beforehand. Certain documents take time to get, such as work experience and salary proof, especially when you're claiming many years of work experience. Once you're invited to apply, you have 60 days to make an application before that invitation is lost. Your evidence must reflect what you have submitted in your EOI, or your application may not be successful. You don't need to worry about police and medical checks until later because they're not required when you lodge your application. Those can be arranged later after the lodgement, and it's best to wait until the Immigration Department requests them. Want to learn more about the points test? Let us know in the comments and we'll do a video on that if there's interest. If you aren't sure you can beat the queue for the high scores, consider the 190 or the 491 visa. We've got many videos about how they work and the latest requirements across all Australian states, so you can check it out. If you need more help, we offer Zoom, Skype and telephone consultations. You can book a time to speak with us at australiavisa.com or just pick up the phone. Come and follow us on Facebook for all our updates, and before you go, please show your support by subscribing. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care out there and bye for now.